When I talked to you, I had the sense that in school, when you were in high school, that you were bored. Was I wrong about that?
Now that I think back on it, I don't think you were wrong at all. I was bored out of my mind, and I think I just wanted more. And I also think that I was scared to achieve more.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to talk more about your being in college now. You said you had a boyfriend for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You said that never happened in high school?
No. I was shy in high school, and I didn't feel like I fit in. And then when I got here, I met somebody, but we are no longer together because I think that I'm too antisocial for a relationship like that. I don't like having to talk to somebody about where I'm going and what I'm doing and just the talking all the time.
But it strikes me the main thing, correct me if I'm wrong, that this was kind of a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Okay, you no longer have this relationship, but you had a boyfriend for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, what's been the best thing about college?
There are so many good things. I love my classes. I love my friends. Made a lot of those. Probably the effect that it had on my attitude. It's probably the best thing about college, the freedom. Oh, I love the freedom.
And what's been the hardest thing?
Not being able to see and talk to my mom and my friends that I left back at home when I went to college every day and talk to them every day. That was probably the hardest bit, especially when finals time came around and I was pulling all-nighters and it affected my mood and I was just sad all the time because I wasn't sleeping. It was nothing. I got through it, but it's just I really miss them sometimes. You get homesick. I think it's probably the worst part.
It was very common for college freshmen.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the difficulty of the classes.
No, not at all.
Well, I know when you were in the Detroit public schools, you were very concerned about if you were able to get to college, which was by no means assured, that you wouldn't be prepared to do it. When you got here, did your attitude about that change?
It did. The first day of classes, I think my first class for the first semester was listening behavior. It was a communications class, and I was like nervous, but not nervous. And then she opened up her mouth and started to speak, and she said, "You can call me Christina." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And from there, it just took off, and we did like some exercises, and it was just fun, and I really got into it. And every class, it was like consistent. Every teacher engaged us.
Well, going back to the time when I spoke to you when you were still in school, this man, Robert Bobb, had just come in to turn Detroit schools around. And at the time, you were hopeful but skeptical that he would be able to do it. Have your thoughts changed about that?
At school, the teachers really did not like him. And they were explaining to us why, because he was trying to lay off more teachers. And I was like, that's really dumb. And I just started not to like him. Then I watched the documentary and I saw what he was going through. And I was like, you know what? The way that they did him, and especially the superintendent that stepped down, was really, really wrong. And it kind of moved me back to his side a little more, because change did need to happen. It still does need to happen. And I was just sad by the way it turned out.
You must hear from some people who are still in school in Detroit or just out of school. Are you still in touch with some of your friends back in Detroit?
Yes. One of my friends said that there were like 40 kids in one of her classes. And I'm like, oh, so it hasn't changed that much, has it? She was like, no, not really. It's still the same old.
Let's talk about your mother. How difficult has this been for her?
With everything, at first, it was really hard for her, and I could see it. But as time went on, she got better, and she became more like the mother that she was before. She went to school, and I'm so proud of her. She's done now, and she has her diploma, and I was just so happy. Like, I was insanely proud of her. I'm still insanely proud of her. She's going to go back and get another degree.
She's getting these degrees in what?
She's a nurse, so she's qualified to work at hospitals. And then the other one that she's going for is an LPN. I have no idea what that is. You'd have to ask her. But it's something cool, so it's fine.
But she lost her job at Target.
She
when
did.
we were in your home, she was still working at Target.
Yes. She lost her job because of what went on with my sister. Like I said, at first, things were hard for her. And for a period, she really wouldn't get out of bed. And she cried a lot. And that upset me because it wasn't the most happy time for her. I don't ever remember her being like that, ever. It really broke her heart. Like, it. Yep. None of that. At first, we had, some money left, and she was really trying to work with her savings, and she bought me what she could, and the rest came from my dad's side of the family, which I was really grateful for. My mom is really good about getting me to not worry because I worry too much as it is, and she wants me to not do that. Seriously, I worry about everything. And she, whenever I would express concern, she would be like, okay, girl, don't worry about that. And she would tell me to go do something. But I knew that I just know that she was worried. I know that things will get better. Looking on the bright side of life is kind of my thing now. So we will get back on track. She's looking to get a job within the month, and within the year, she wants to be in her own apartment because we don't really need a house now because it's just the two of us. So we'll be fine.
Well, how's your sister Isis doing?
She's okay sometimes.
She's graduated from high school.
She did. She graduated from high school. She's coming here in the fall.
She's coming here?
Yes. We're actually going to be in the same hall, different floors. She's going to be on the second floor. I'm going to be on the first floor. And I hope she does well. She's going to be living with one of her friends from middle school. They've known each other since middle school. And hopefully that friend can keep her on the right track because that girl's kind of a goody-goody and Isis is not. So, they should be cool together.
Well, question, do you think she can make it here?
Of course. We're related. I hope.
What are you going to do with yourself this summer? What have you been doing this summer?
Writing. A lot. And doing job applications. But mostly writing.
Well, what kind of writing are you doing? Poetry? You're doing essays? You're doing fiction?
I have been doing poetry. I've done some poetry. I tried songwriting, which was really surprising. It actually was a nice song. And I've written some stories. I've written a little farther in a book, and then I'm collaborating on a project with one of my friends that I had in high school. Things are really good on the writing front. I was really happy with myself when I started writing again, and the words just started flowing, and the story was making sense and coming out onto the paper without me having to really think about it.
Well, you know what the professional writers say, if you're going to write your heart.
And that's what it felt like. Like I was writing my heart, like my brain wasn't trying to tell a story. I wasn't trying to overthink it like I do a lot of things. It was just there.
Well, Deanna, we took a short break there, and I was just informed that somebody at the college says that there's a real possibility that you may get a job, part-time job, working here in the library.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. You have no idea how much I love books. I love them so much. Like, I can remember my very first visit to the library. I was 5.5. We were going to the children's section. This is when they still had the ABC carpet down, and it was summer. And my mom was taking us on our very first visit to the library. And I went in, and we were being too loud, and she was like, shh. And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, you can't be loud in the library. And we go up to the desk, and the lady's there, and we filled out for our library cards. And I was so excited because I got to write my own name on the library card. And then we went to the section, and my mom helped us pick out books. And I remember that I got Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, and I got 4 Arthur books. And I went home and I read them all, and I just kept asking my mom, can we go to the library tomorrow? It was like one of the most fabulous experiences of my life. And since then, I've been in love with libraries and taking care of books. And I remember I was extra careful with the Arthur book because it had tape on it. She was like, my mom was like, you have to take care of the library books. You can't mess them up. And I was like, okay, I won't. And I didn't. And something about taking care of books and making sure they're okay and telling somebody what they should read and helping somebody understand a story makes me really happy. And I would just like to do that with my life. Do that and write stories and help people discover stories. That's just something I'd like to do. And I'm really, really, really excited to have the opportunity to work at the library. And if I do get this job, that would be awesome. Like, that would just make my life.
Well, let's hope it comes off.
Yes.
If you've got it, watch it. If you don't, call your TV provider to get HDNet today.
And my friends that I left back at home when I went to college every day and talked to them every day. That was probably the hardest bit, especially when finals time came around and I was pulling all-nighters and it affected my mood, and I was just sad all the time because I wasn't sleeping. It was nothing. I got through it, but it's just, I really miss.
When I talked to you, I had the sense that in school, when you were in high school, that you were bored. Was I wrong about that?
Now that I think back on it, I don't think you were wrong at all. I was bored out of my mind, and I think I just wanted more. And I also think that I was scared to achieve more. For a relationship like that, I don't like having to talk to somebody about where I'm going and what I'm doing, and just the talking all the time.
But it strikes me the main thing, correct me if I'm wrong, that this was kind of a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Okay, you no longer have this relationship, but you had a boyfriend for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, what's been the best thing about college?
There are so many good things.
Well, I want to talk more about your being in college now. You said you had a boyfriend for a while. Mm-hmm. You said that never happened in high school?
No. I was shy in high school, and I didn't feel like I fit in. And then when I got here, I met somebody, but we are no longer together because I think that I'm too antisocial. I love my classes. I love my friends. Made a lot of those. Probably the effect that it had on my attitude. It's probably the best thing about college, the freedom. Oh, I love the freedom.
And what's been the hardest thing?
Not being able to see and talk to my mom.